Right, this is a book that I've finally finished. It only took me about 25 years. Haven't been writing it continuously for 25 years. It's been a very much an on-off, very wibbly wobbly road experience. I first started writing this when I was 18, living in Torquay, being very bored behind a bar. Obviously not tidying up like I should have been. Anyway, I come up with some characters, and the idea I liked, but I didn't have the skills to write it at that time. However, as the years went on, I become an animator, and I started writing a lot more scripts, and I did get involved a lot more with writing. And funny enough, it was the characters in this book that got me into animation, because I wanted to make an animation of the two main characters, Miller and Jacob, and I learned animation, and then that became my career. So, you know, I've got a lot to be thankful for these characters. Anyway, because of that job, a few years ago, I had a project that gave me every Friday off. And coincidentally, around that time, I read a book called The Food, which was a biography for Douglas Adams, who wrote The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Now, famously, in that book, there's a part of it where DeepThink, this massive computer brain, comes up with the answer to life, everything, you know, the meaning of the universe, and the answer is 42. And then the people say, well, what does that mean? And he never comes up with an answer, which is kind of really funny. But when I went on to read the rest of the series, I was a bit like, oh, hang on, is there a meaning to this? So I thought it would be funny in this book that I've been writing on and off for years to come up with a section that actually answered it. It's only a small kind of throwaway chapter, but it was enough to get me interested to get back into the book. And actually, at the time, the book wasn't even a book, it was a script. It was for a podcast. But I don't know, because of that, and because I was reading a lot at the time, I decided to novelize it. I basically went back, started from scratch, used the idea that I had for that script, and a couple of years later, it still took a few more years after that, I managed to come up with The Time Diary, which is a sci-fi comedy adventure. It's very British, if you like that kind of dry, sarcastic sense of humour, where the heroes are normally quite fallible losers, to be honest, and they get themselves into quite terrible situations that they can't really get themselves out of, and nothing really goes right. But amongst all that comedy, I do try and pose some really kind of big questions, like, are we good people? Or if given a chance, can we be corrupted? And how far can that go, given, you know, the amount of power we can gain? So very much The Time Diary is about the drama that ensures when these people stumble upon time travel, and when it awards them huge amount of power. Now, this is the very first book in what I know everyone does a trilogy, and actually I always thought of it more like The Hobbit. I was going to have this, and then I was going to have my epic. However, whilst working on this, I did end up working on the second book, and the second book was more of a murder mystery that still ties in with this one. Hopefully you'll read it and it'll all make sense. But anyway, this is just a very quick introduction to The Time Diary, written by me, Scott Lee Evans. I hope you enjoy it. I really do want to hear what your thoughts are on it, and I might even do a dramatical reading of it in my next video. So if you fancy listening to that, well, I'll upload it. Maybe I'll record that and then upload this and the other together, so you can skip right on to my reading. Bye.